So let's talk for a second about Valentine's Day and why I'm gonna play you guys some nice music and talk about it. So I was thinking about these people online, like these they call themselves incels, and all these people that are just they troll all day long and stuff. And I legitimately have compassion for them because it's like, think about being a man and you don't have a wife, you don't have a family. The amount of time that takes up in a man's day and effort and focus. Like, I woke up at 5:30 a.m. today because ever since we've had like horrific weather, everybody's been in the big bed, right? We got Walter, the baby's right near us because if the heat goes out, me and Amy were getting paranoid that everybody would be cold because our heat went out a couple nights, right? So someone started crying at like 5, so I'm up. I edited the mustache video. But like 7:30 or 8, Walter's up. We're playing monster trucks. I'm cooking him breakfast. I'm feeding the 4 dogs. Then Amy's up, and she's got all kinds of stuff on her plate. And then George gets his jaws around the neck of a rabbit, almost kills the rabbit. Doesn't kill the rabbit, but it was right in front of Walter, so I had to talk to him about violence and stuff and like what dogs' natures are. A lot of intensity. Then we go to grandparents' house. Then we a lot of like visiting, talking. Then we go to Home Depot, Wilco, stuff like that. Look for baby chicks. We're always building stuff, trying to build Walter a new ramp. So I'm reading emails, swamped by emails, get overwhelmed, start digging. I start having to level a place for our new chicken coop that's like 3 times the size because we're just really going big with chickens. So I'm shoveling snow, I'm leveling. Okay, this is like all day. My whole day is like digging, explaining, loving, holding, walking, cleaning, fixing, I just all day long. Checking on the ducks, checking on the rabbits, explaining to Walter about, dogs' nature. It's like there's so many dudes that don't have a wife or kids that they just have all day to just be angry. And it's not their fault per se. It is kind of, but not really. Listen, feminism took a bunch of women and told them that aborting and dying alone and getting a cat and being a vegan is empowerment. So you take all these women off the dating pool. Back in the day, if you were a man and you had a job and a car, you could get married and have a family. It was great. And that occupied males' time and it made it productive. I am starting to be more productive, more prosperous than I've ever been in my life because I have a reason to. Even in Hollywood, when I was making huge paychecks, I was in a studio apartment, just flying my friends around. I didn't have a reason to make money because I didn't have kids. There's no point. It's like, I don't like fancy shoes. So it's like when you have married men with kids, you have focus. You have someone who's looking for the future. You have somebody who plants trees that their kids can enjoy. They're thinking about building a sled, slides, explaining, protecting, teaching, holding, feeding. It's like all day long. And it makes for a productive society. But now you have a world where you have the top of the social sexual hierarchy males who get a ton of sex and are totally lonely and empty, right? I've been there. And a lot of people won't believe that because they'll just be like, must be nice, right? It's a fact. So there's a group of guys, not a lot of them, at the top of the social sexual pyramid that can get a lot of sex from women, and they're totally lonely. And they don't get Christmas or purpose or anything. They just get sex handed to them by women who don't necessarily want relationships or are insane or whatever, right? So they're not having a good time. And then you have these women that are they just are aging without children or marriage because they had 9 abortions and they got a job in a cubicle. And then you have all these other dudes that should just be dads and husbands and they're just pissed. So they're just on Reddit and shit. They're like, oh, let's try and take down fucking Walter Mondale. I don't know. I can't even think of a name, but it's just random dudes. It's like, oh, assemble. These are guys with good male instincts with nowhere. It's like that Pink Floyd song, A Strong Urge to Fly, but I got nowhere to fly to because it's been taken. Want to know where else this happens? The Middle East, right? When you got a sultan or one of these fat fucking Jabba the Hutt retards that have 100 wives, That's 99 dudes without wives. So what do, they strap on, a vest full of shrapnel and blow themselves up in an Ariana Grande concert because they have nothing to live for, right? Destabilizes society when you have these opulent mansions and all these tents around it of dudes who can't get families because this fat fuck and women are just attracted to shiny pebbles and fucking gold like retards. And so they're all, married to some asshole and they cover their face and no one's having a good time, right? And so I have compassion for these guys. Then you have like divorce courts and all this shit in America where if you marry the wrong chick, she'll take all your money and your kids and fuck you over. And so there's dudes from no fault of their own. The way they're designed is just to work and have a family and they don't get it. And so they're just on the internet all day being dicks. And I was thinking about that. It's like, that's why they're dicks. Because they don't have anything else to do. It's like their purpose is like, it becomes a life of just resentment and envy. And it's like, for dudes like me who have a wife, a kid, a career, lots of responsibilities, I don't have time to be envious. I literally am like, someone puked, someone's pissing, George is killing a rabbit. We're covered in snow, someone's crying, Amy has bangs, like, where's food? All day. There is no time when I'm just like, man, I wish I was, fuck that guy. I have no time. And that's the state males should be, because if not, we get so weird. And women get weird in their little cubicles, like, I'm powerful. As they're just wasting away with their trans cats. And the only way out is the shit that I talk about. It's like, go to church. Find a community where women they don't want to abort and fucking all that, and the guys want to work and provide and protect. You have to do it yourself because our culture, our society is sick. It's sick. It's cancerous. It has a tumor. So it's like, my recommendation is to detach from that, because when you look at the guys with the high social, sexual, like who's that British guy that was married to fucking that bitch, who sang, I kissed a girl and I liked it. And then there's that British guy. It's like, oh, Rotman. Like that guy has had sex with thousands of women. He's probably has a gun in his mouth every night begging to not blow his brains out. Like there's nothing good in the whole thing when it's set up like this. You got all these dudes that can get all that like pussy thrown at them. But in that environment, they can't get what they want, which is a family, because, Russell Brand. Just look at Russell Brand. Like, look at Russell Brand. He's as lost as a human can possibly be. And that guy has had to go to rehab for sex. So it's like when people are like, oh, man, I need to get laid. It's like, no, our society's fucked. Russell Brand did try to commit suicide. I'm sure he's too weak to even commit suicide. I don't like him either. He sucks. Of course, he's horrifying. But I used him as an example because it's like, he's the type of guy that would have like all these like hot women being like, oh, Russell Brand, no way. I want you to enter my body. And he'd be like, oh, right. And then he'd be like, I want to die. And then you have the guys, because the chicks are just garbage. They don't want anything. They're just like, can I snort it? And he's like, because it's not based on anything. It's based on power, not love or respect or anything. And then you have the other guys that are like, no women want to fuck them because we're in a society where all these women are fucking these terrible men that just are crying all the time. And so they get resentful. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Like, it's like these muzzies that like join ISIS and shit because they're like, what else am I going to do? There's no families here. Jabba the Hutt has 100 wives because he like has a bar of gold and women are retarded. You guys get it. All right.